The Movies of the Meek, where we watch made-for-TV movies and miniseries so you don't have to. From Gia to Xenon, Hysteria to Sybil, welcome to Movies of the Meek.
So Fred the movie
It's Fred!
I burned my dog!
was your pick. And I will talk about the plot of this movie, which is not what I thought it would be. The plot of this movie is Fred is a student in a school, and he is in love with a girl, Judy, who he has never talked to. And he decides,
who lives next to him.
Who lives next to him. and directly next to her is the bully that she gets along with, but is Fred's bully, and they live in a cul-de-sac within eyesight of each other. They all live so close to each other. They even show it on a map. It's one of the best
3 times.
3 times they show it on a map. And so he decides to take their relationship to the next level, and he's going to finally talk to her. But then she moves. Which is
Like the same day. Like
the same day.
they go to school, like they come back and like he's in his house for 20 minutes and her whole family moves out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The car comes, or the truck comes, they fill it up, and then a new family moves in 20 minutes.
I think this whole movie takes place in 48 hours. Like, being 100% serious, I think this movie takes place in 48 hours. But so he wants to go and, like, he wants to invite Judy to sing. The reason he wants Judy to sing is because she's, like, an Australian pop star, which he says she's from the South. And he says she doesn't sound like she's from the South. But she's Australian. Which is like Lil Nicky, where he's like, I'm from the deep south, which he means hell. I don't know. Anyway, I'm tired. But so he wants to go sing with her because he wants her to be his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be him falling in love with Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly,
Who is also his neighbor.
who's on the also his neighbor, just
On the other side.
just on
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of.
I hated this fucking movie.
It's pretty bad. I mean,
Like I'm like trying to like break it down and analyze it, and I'm like, all right, what's like the Campbellian journey that happens? And like there's one moment where I was like, all right, here we are, like this is reminiscent of like The Hobbit. Like he has his backpack on,
Yeah, that's
and
when
he's
it
gonna
really-
go out, like he's crossing the threshold into his hero's journey, and then it just doesn't fucking do anything in terms of what a movie is. Like it follows no structure.
but at least he goes somewhere, because the first third of the movie he's in his house.
the first 30 minutes of the movie is inside
Well, there's
his
there's kind of a false start, because he goes and tries to enter her house through the backyard. There's a wall, of course, so he tries to dig he tries to jump over it with the trampoline. that doesn't work.
because it's a trampoline.
And then he tries to dig a hole, and he digs he digs and digs and digs, and he comes at the other side, and there's a bunch of Asians looking at him.
I read a note for that was he tries to dig a tunnel, he gets electrocuted, and when he gets electrocuted, all right, so the bully's name is Kevin, and when he gets electrocuted, the treadmill that Kevin's on stops, and Kevin slams into it, and that's how he breaks his arm. Okay, but it
right.
also
That's
quote
right.
unquote fills Fred with energy. And so he digs even faster, which is why when he comes up, he thinks he's in China because he had so much energy. But in fact, it's just that he's racist. Like, this movie is so racist. There's so many times where I was like, he's a garbage person. This is terrible.
I think he's just dumb. He's just dumb.
Okay.
I don't think he's intentionally being. There's the light.
Yeah, there's the light.
But yeah, I mean, he's just a very dumb person.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes him a day to get out of his house.
Yeah.
So he sees the and you called it. You said, "Well, that's the new family who moved in,"
Yeah.
because that was still a mystery.
Yeah.
At that point. In the
Yeah.
film.
We didn't know whether or not he dug to China.
The way the movie was going, it wouldn't be surprising because John Cena shows up like 5 minutes into the movie.
So the note that I had, I was like, John Cena is his dad, which like I absolutely like. I hate cameos in movies just because like most of the time it seems like they just wanted like a famous person in the movie, and it's like not like they actually had a role. Like we just want like Lemonade Mouth, all right. Lemonade Mouth has Shooter McGavin in it, but like that's at least like he has a role in that movie. He's the principal.
And he's played that before. Like, he's
Yeah.
played that type of character before.
It's not just like, let's have John Cena in it and it's John Cena being ridiculous. Or like another one is like Red Letter Media has this movie they made called Space Cop. And I love that movie with a fiery passion, but it has Patton Oswalt in it and he has like a 9-minute scene. It feels like it's 9 minutes. It could be less time. Probably it's like a minute long
It's a good scene then.
It's just drawn out and it's just like, we got this famous person, let's just have them in it a shit ton. Like they don't do anything. Like all John Cena does is, I mean, the whole thing's like a YouTube video fucking anyway. Yeah. But like
that's one of my notes.
The whole thing with like John Cena is just like, it's just John Cena being ridiculous. I wrote down at one point just because like, so John Cena clearly doesn't exist, okay?
Yeah, it's in his mind.
Durf
Is in his mind.
Is in his
well,
mind.
you could argue the whole bus. Everybody on the bus is in his mind.
Everyone on the bus could be in his mind. And so I wrote, this movie is the modern day A Beautiful Mind. Just because I was like, okay, John Cena doesn't exist.
That's true. I was questioning
like-
every character after
like,
John Cena.
Literally every character could not exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that was the thing. And also there's that one part where he's like these Asian people have come in and like they've kidnapped Judy. Where's Judy? Call FBI, call the CIA, call FBI, call the CIA, call FBI, call the CIA. And then he goes, what's the number for the police? And then it goes to somebody call 911 for the third time.
Somebody call 911. Shorty fire burning on the dance floor. Whoa.
Yeah. I wrote, this movie does enforce good habits for children, which I felt like was something that they almost needed. They were like, all right, so terrible YouTube personality, like you can be on the internet, like you can be from the internet and then be on Nickelodeon as long as you talk to kids about how like don't swear, you know. He was like, I don't say curse words. And then he was like,
what's his curse word he says?
I
damn it, he says.
I did not commit it to memory. But there's like when he, I don't think you were watching this part. I think you went off and did something better.
I need a few breaks.
There was this one sequence where he's just like throwing this tantrum when he finds out that Judy's moved, and he's literally screaming. And that's another one of my notes, just as large as possible. I just wrote his scream because it's just this shrill noise. But like he's flailing around and he's just screaming constantly, and he's trashing his house, but then immediately afterwards he vacuums up. And I was like, okay, so they're enforcing like if you are gonna be a piece of garbage child, like at least clean up afterwards. And then another sequence where he's like, I'm gotta get ready, I'm ready to go off, I'm ready to go on my journey. He's like, gotta brush my teeth. And it's like,
he says that?
Like and he brushes his teeth.
That's why when I came in he was brushing his teeth.
Yeah, when you came in he was brushing
Downstairs.
his teeth. Yeah, you know, and so it's kind of enforcing these, you know, kind of good things for a kid to do, I guess. The bus stop gets off in the middle of a water park,
which has sand.
There's no one there because of poop.
So, do you think this was filmed where he lives in real life? Because it looks like it's in like not California, maybe like New Mexico or something. It looks
Part of me thinks that this is like a Canadian film.
really.
Yeah.
But there were like, are there deserts in Canada? There's like some desert looking areas in this movie, and there's sand at the water park.
There has to be desert in Canada.
There has to be desert in Canada.
You know?
Somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so the bus stop is in the water park. That blew my mind because they literally open the door and he gets off and he's
At the water park. He's at the pool.
He's not at the fringe. He's not at the sidewalk for a water park. He's not at the side area for that sand. He is stepping onto the sand of the water park in that sequence.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That blew my mind. And there's Jeanette McCurdy just
chilling.
sitting there.
Yeah, she's
dressed up
the best part
as,
of the
like-
movie.
Yeah, she was great.
She was pretty funny.
I looked it
And
up. She gets replaced in the other ones. So if
Really?
we do the sequels,
She got
will
too
not,
big?
She will not. I think it was those nudes. I'm kidding. Those nudes came out like 2 years ago. So it's like pretty great, guys
Oh my
and gals.
God.
I suggest looking at them. The amount of slapstick in this movie was mind blowing.
The whole thing, you mean?
Yeah, the whole thing. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a movie with this much slapstick in decades.
What was the last movie you thought that had this much? Or close to this much?
The only thing that I could think of was like watching a Three Stooges movie. Like it was that much slapstick. Like the first 30 minutes, because he doesn't leave his house in the first 30 minutes, is just slapstick.
Oh my God.
Like it's just ridiculous. Him falling.
It's
and-
slapstick and pop culture references from like 2007.
from whatever
So,
era this came out, like
There's
2010 or something.
a Taken reference after
Yeah.
well, he thinks she's kidnapped.
Yeah. He's like, Judy, you're under the bed. That made this movie really hard to figure out what was real and what was not. Like being 100% honest, there's so many parts of this movie that I was just like, is this a dream? Oh, it's not a dream. Oh, it is a dream.
Because they don't do anything visually to make you think it's a dream during those scenes.
No.
There's a couple scenes where like he's about to do something and the scene plays out and you're like, okay, that's what happened, and then he's like back in the house and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That happened a couple times.
I don't understand like the narrative structure of this movie.
There is not.
Like I don't understand. And like you were saying, like once we got to the end and he gets the girl in the end. Spoilers for Fred the movie. He gets the girl in the end. And you were like, this is terrible. I like it. That was very it made my point very
It was awesome.
very poignant and
I
dramatic.
thought Max was actually, you had some sound effects.
I had a whatever, a soundboard. No, but yeah, he gets the girl in the end, and it kind of ruins the movie. Like you want him to end up with Jeanette McCurdy.
Because that makes sense. That's a good message for kids, I
Yeah.
think. Or a better message. Like
It's
be yourself and like...
And find someone that you can be yourself with. That like...
What happens at the end is that all the popular kids... So they make a video
Yeah.
at the end of a fake party.
Yeah.
All the kids at the school see this video and,
Yeah.
and they think he's super popular now.
Yeah.
And he gets all the friends, all his enemies, like Kevin, his enemy,
Yeah.
is now the loser.
Yeah.
And he gets the babe, who
Yeah.
just hated him,
Who
just thought he was a dork.
who he threw up on, and she was like, I think you should leave.
Yeah.
You should
was
leave
very
my
rude to-
party.
I mean,
Yeah.
He's...
He's very rude to this.
But I had no
garbage
sympathy.
person.
I mean, I wanted him to leave. Like, he is the worst character ever.
He calls squirrels. He calls dogs squirrels.
I think that has to be an inside joke with this YouTube series. I wonder if half this movie is just inside jokes. because I don't know if it made sense.
That was
Like
that,
I could
that
see
was-
I could see a lot of that stuff like hitting with his fans. Like if that was a thing in this series, like
Sure.
there's no other way to explain it.
I laughed a lot during this movie.
Well, I have that.
Like,
So my first couple of notes. I mean, I have a couple
you're,
notes.
You're like, Max is enjoying this.
I mean, I wrote one of my notes is legit funny
Okay.
because I was having a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah.
My notes are in order. Everyone lives in the same cul-de-sac. Fred is not a twink.
Oh my God. All right.
And then let's.
He is in real life.
He is in real life.
Yeah.
I was like, the wall analogy is very relevant in today's America.
Okay.
And then yes, that's like this movie is really funny. and then edited like a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Because it has a lot of that those fast cuts when people are talking,
Yeah.
like during scenes.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
And then following that note, it was exhausting. So I would say like if this movie was 20 minutes long, I'd be like, that's a good movie.
His scream was exhausting. Like that. All right. So the one sequence, I don't remember how it started, but where he's just running and screaming, and it's cutting through location screaming,
No,
location
that's
screaming.
right after he was super racist again with the there was a Mexican man
Oh,
who was like, "Can I
yeah.
help you?" And he's like, "What is happening?" And the Mexican guy's like, "I don't speak English. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want,
And-
dude?"
and then
he's
he was like-
"You're a spaceman. Like, what is wrong with you?" And then he runs away and just screams. There's a montage of him. That's what started it. Yeah.
My thing about that sequence is that he was like, there's a voice in my head, and I can't understand the voice in my head. And I was like, this is some fucked up stuff right here, man. Like, what is happening? But yeah, so then there's the montage of him screaming, and it's absolutely exhausting. Like, he just keeps screaming. And then there's the one green screen effect of him screaming, running up a roller coaster track.
Oh, that was pretty clever.
And I was like, that's pretty funny. All right, that's a good juxtaposition of like strange things. And then immediately afterward, there was another scream, and I was like, oh God.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So he's trying to get to Judy. He's in love with Judy. He keeps running into random terrible people. He meets Durf, which is just him with a wig, a brown wig.
It has to be in his head though. So this is an alter ego.
Yeah, that's sure.
I don't know what that was. I mean, he gets on a bus. So when he leaves his house, he gets chased by Kevin, because Kevin's the fucking worst. And he's really mean.
Yeah.
But he also is he's a fucking tool.
I feel like he went on to like actually do something.
He looks familiar.
Like he looks very familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look it up because like that guy's the worst.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Come on, dude. But he chases him and forces him to get on the wrong bus.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole story really starts. And this is about 35-40 minutes into the movie.
That's easily 40 minutes in.
So it takes him 40 minutes from when it starts, when she moves, to get on a bus to he leaves the Shire at 40 minutes.
And the movie's
Which is
82
fucking
minutes
crazy.
long. It's halfway through the movie when the movie starts.
But Kevin makes him get on the wrong bus,
Yeah.
which is made up by imaginary people, I think.
Yeah.
Because so he gets on, he sees all these people, these scary people,
Yeah.
and then he sits down and there's his alter ego, cool, Durf.
Yeah. Durf.
And then he gets to the
My note is Durf is the worst.
Durf is the worst.
Durf is the worst.
He's not that bad. And then he gets up. He gets to a stop, and he gets up. He's like, "Where'd everyone go?"
Yeah.
Because they didn't fucking exist. No one existed in this movie.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
You think no one existed?
Some characters.
I feel like some of them did.
Some of them did, but
Yeah.
fuck.
His mom was very sexual towards him.
His mom was very sexual and very drunk at all times.
Yeah, she was very drunk
She
at all
was an
times.
alcoholic
Yeah.
and maybe a whore.
Well, you find out at the end that John Cena is not his dad, which we figured already because he's clearly a figment of the imagination.
Or is he just his mom's lover at the end? Because he does kind of, doesn't she call for him or something? And he's like, I didn't really watch the end of it. I thought he kind of got up and went upstairs or something at the end of the movie. John Cena did.
No, that was just he was just mimicking what the mother did, which made sense.
Okay,
It's like of course he would want his mom to, his mom is like, I'm drunk, I'm gonna go take a nap, so of course he would want John Cena to also take a nap.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I took that as sexual. But it's fine.
He's like, I'm also gonna go take a nap if you know
I don't
what
understand.
I mean.
I don't really understand the John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, it was just to have John Cena, which is once again my problem with cameos. Like they're pointless, Like it's not like they wrote him a character. They were just like, John Cena, do John Cena thing, and he was like, oh, I'll punch you in the face. When he punched him in the face, once again slapstick. I was like, I laughed at that. I was like, God damn it, John Cena, I'm laughing at you punching someone. Okay, so he goes on this journey and he does all this stuff. He goes through so many things. He goes to a pet store because he wants to get Judy a gift.
Yeah, he goes.
That's after. It's hard to tell what is after what. But he goes to find her a gift, and he goes to this pet store. That's of course after he goes through the laundry, which was great.
Stevie's dad from Malcolm in the Middle owns the laundromat. Why did he kick him out? Because he's getting sand everywhere?
Because he was just wearing his underwear, which like...
okay. He overreacted. But he's very annoying.
He's terribly annoying. And so the resolve for that situation was for him to go to a car wash and get apple. For some reason, that's a joke. I didn't understand that.
That has to be part of the show because that made no sense.
I'm not going to watch any of these videos to find out.
No one should.
I spent a total of
oh, by the way, no one should watch this movie.
I spent like a total of 10 seconds on his YouTube channel, and I was like, nah.
His new one.
Both.
Okay. Does he still have an older one of like his Fred videos?
Yeah, so the older one is now, he's like franchised it out, and it's this young Asian boy that's not him, but it's known as it's the new Fred. And all the videos only have like 30,000 views, and yeah, it's amazing. Whereas Fred, his real name is Lucas, who cares?
More like vlogs, right? He's like
and
about his life.
He vlogs
he's
about
like
his
more
life.
like a PewDiePie type person now. Where he's like just talking about his life and does videos.
And all of his videos are doing very well. He's killing it.
Good.
But
he's a millionaire.
Probably. He had 3 movies. This movie, like, it's a made for TV movie, but like they had
Was this Nickelodeon?
Yeah, they had a limited release I saw, and it made like $1 million. And I was just
My sister used to be
why?
a huge fan of this. She watched these videos.
Yeah, lots of people did. Yeah,
I didn't understand it then.
I don't understand.
And I don't understand it now either. So
I mean, I laughed a whole bunch, so I kind of get it. But at the same time, I'm just going, whoa, that's harsh. Yeah. So after the car wash, he decides that he wants to get Judy a gift. And so he goes to the pet store because he says, "Oh, squirrels!"
He sees a picture of a dog.
He sees a picture
on the
of
window,
a dog.
and he says, "Squirrels."
And he goes in, and he thinks that Pomeranians are squirrels.
I think the 2 owners, right?
Yeah,
they were lovers.
Yeah,
that's what I got from that.
And that was his.
It seems like he was sneaking some like gay stuff in there the whole time, like because you told me that in his actual YouTube videos, he talks about him being a twink.
Yeah. So he tries to steal a dog, and then the guy gets maced, and so. Then he takes the bus again after having another hallucination about my boy Durf, and then he wakes up from his hallucination and
at the dam, right? No, yeah,
sure.
No.
I don't care.
No, he does though. He gets off at the dam, and then he tries to cross the dam, and the guy, that fucking weird dude. I thought he was.
That was a weird dude.
That guy was weird. And he goes in the woods and finds
He finds a talking deer that he sings with. And then he finds his friend that went missing.
So this was a big. This was established maybe 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
He was out near the woods with his childhood friend. His friend goes into the woods to retrieve a ball and disappears.
Yeah.
He pisses himself. Fred pisses. They made a huge point, like crotch shot, him pissing himself.
And then
Right.
my favorite is when he goes back to the woods and they show him at literally somehow this section of the dam leads him back to the exact area where he and his friend were with that ball. So it's like, what were you doing on that day? Like, how did you
That
get
far
to that?
from home.
How did you get to that exact point? And it's at that point that you see him like touching his crotch,
make
and
sure he
it's
didn't
like
piss
zooms straight in
Yeah.
on it. He's like, "Oh, still dry."
So he goes in the woods, meets the singing deer,
Yeah,
and then finds his friend,
and then he finds his friend,
who's now like a deranged.
lunatic, and his friend says, "Tell my parents that I'm okay." They've moved on.
And that's, I think, does he start screaming then? Oh, he does start screaming.
Yeah.
He screams after every
Yeah, he screams constantly. But then so then he gets on another bus, and it's on the other bus that this lady just has a Pomeranian, and she's just
I missed this
and
part,
and
yeah.
she's just like,
Okay.
"Want a dog? Anybody want a dog? Does someone want a dog?" And he's like, "Ooh, a squirrel." And so he takes the squirrel, the dog. It's a dog. And so that is what. So I made sure to write this down just because of the fact that he's excited that he has the squirrel so that he can give it to Judy. But then when he shows up at Judy's house and they're having a party and he wasn't invited. Only cool popular kids were invited. And when he shows up with the dog, it vanishes. Did you notice that? Because literally he shows up
because
and it's in his arms and then it's gone.
I didn't notice that.
Okay.
Because
You were paying attention to the cast.
Well, why? Okay, I missed the scene where he gets the dog,
Okay.
so I didn't know he had a new dog.
Okay. Yeah.
But he showed up to the house and he had it in his
showed up.
arm.
He has it in his arms,
And then
and
it
it's like
disappeared.
he's going to gift it to her.
Yeah, it seems like something happened when they were filming where there's a lot of it was filmed and then they filmed it again like 3 weeks later.
Probably some reshoots, you know.
There was probably
they're
a
like
ton
this
of reshoot.
narrative
There had to be.
structure.
There had
It's like Fantastic Four. They're like someone about this story just like isn't being told right. I think we can fix it.
You can't.
You can.
You never can. That scene was pretty amazing. They were really fucking mean to him, by the way.
Yeah.
They were.
Sure.
They were all like, "Get out of here, you loser."
They were as mean as you could be on Nickelodeon. Flo is Kevin's mom. Flo from the Progressive commercials, which I made you rewind like 4 times to the wrong scene because I thought you meant that Flo was a stoner boy, but he was not, or she was not.
He was not.
And the end of the movie is just a 15-minute long YouTube clip of a party.
I wonder if he got a contract with Nickelodeon and they said you have to fill this amount of time. And he because it just seems like we're like, what do we do for what can we pad this movie with? 15 minutes of a montage of them making a video, a YouTube video.
That makes sense.
That was the worst part of the movie.
because it just went on for so long.
Yeah,
it never ended.
It could have ended way sooner.
Yeah.
And then it leads
just
to
kept
and then
going.
it leads to the whole movie unraveling, too, with him getting the girl and
Yeah.
just didn't make any sense.
Jeanette McCurdy goes home, and then
She just goes
and
home.
Then, yeah, and then the other girl shows up, and
It actually implies that she gets like hot dudes at the school.
oh yeah, it does.
Like it implies that like she gets to bang all these hot guys and he gets to bang
the girl with
the
his
Australian.
dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not.
It's the same message as Grease. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like pretend to be someone that you want to be,
and you get 'em.
and you get them.
Okay.
You know,
Well, just
good message.
Yeah, it's a great message.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I have no words for this movie other than what we said. I mean, that could be it.